All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Afterburners podcast. I am your host, Liam. I am being joined by the one, the only proud New York Jets fan himself, ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine. Nick, how you doing tonight, my friend?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. It's been a while since we've been on a show together. How you been?
Yeah, man, it has. Been doing good, man. You know, the thing with this New York Jets team is there's never a dull moment. You know, there really never is. We got
our fan base won't allow it.
No,
right?
No,
I think it's the fan base. We just won't allow it.
I wouldn't want it any other way, truthfully.
Nice.
I really wouldn't. You know, we got our starting quarterback that doesn't practice in rain. We got players that we traded for that are sitting out. It's always something with this team. Before we really get into it, I just want to hit the chat real quick to say what's up to everybody. We got some people in the chat. Mark, hey, everyone. Nick is the best. Yes, he is.
Stop.
Hello, everyone. Let's go, Nick. My boys, JETS. Smash that like button. Yeah, if you guys definitely want to smash the like button, do so. That would really help us out. We got OG Jets fan in the house, Nick. If you're taking call-in tonight, please let me hop on. I wanted to talk to Andrew earlier, but never had the chance. Nick, that's something you could take up with OG Jets fan. If he wants to call in tonight on our show, he could do so as well. I already posted the link for the chat.
Nice.
What else we got here? We got Armand. Hello, all. Hello. We got Vinny. What's good, fellas? Can't talk. Yes, sir. All right, so
what's up, everybody?
The first thing that I wanted to get into, Tommy, I see in the back that we're going to bring you on in a few minutes. Just want to talk to Nick. Want to get my one-on-one time with Nick. It's been a while. We haven't done this.
Let's do it, man.
So what are your thoughts so far on how training camp is going overall? You're seeing a lot of reports that, today was the joint practice with the Commanders. Aaron Rodgers himself did not practice, although he wanted to. He's been having one hell of a training camp. Doesn't look like he's lost a step at all, especially coming off of that Achilles injury. Him not practicing today, but apparently all reports are saying that the New York Jets torch the Washington Commanders. What are your thoughts on the joint practice so far and just everything that you've seen coming out of training camp?
I love it. I think it was smart not to play Rodgers today, right? If you were to put him out there and he tweaks his calf or strains a ligament or muscle, you're going to get torched, media nationwide. Why would you put him out there in horrible conditions? It was the smart move to do, right? That's the first thing. Today was smart. The New York Jets have not been smart throughout our history. This is a new day for us. This is a new regime where we're doing things that benefit the team and the organization, right? He goes out there and he catches his cleat in the grass and pulls something. We're going to lose our minds, right?
Yep.
That would be dumb. I like that. No major injuries yet, right? Not do a little knock on wood, right? Like, we had the devastating Carl Lawson injury 2 years ago with the joint practice, coincidentally with Green Bay. So I love that we got through today healthy. Last night on the show, I said a prayer, Lord, please just let us get through the day healthy. We can fix bad snaps. We can fix interceptions. We can fix false starts. You can't fix an injury like Carl Lawson's 2 years ago. So, it's Jets fans tend to make the most out of the smallest little things. So the fact that there was nothing made out of today is good, right?
Yeah.
There was no mountain out of a molehill today. So that's a good thing. And Tyrod Taylor, we should be excited that we have a competent, efficient backup quarterback. You could say Tyrod Taylor, if you take Aaron Rodgers out of it, has been our best quarterback to be on our roster the entire Robert Saleh regime. So, and
Oh
he's a
yeah,
rookie.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, exactly. It just we've never had that from the backup quarterback position.
correct. I'm excited, man. I'm really, really excited. As you know, I'm giddy. I'm like a kid on Christmas morning every day. I look at this roster and I'm like, man, I forgot that we got that guy. He's one of our starters. Like, that's how deep and talented and loaded we are. So yeah, I really, really am looking forward to watching this come together and seeing the big picture and seeing where it takes us. We're owed, man.
Yes, we are. Yeah,
We,
100%
we
we
are
are.
owed.
I remember walking into MetLife Stadium last year, September 11th. I showed up late. Took me 4 hours to get there. I walk in as like Rogers is getting carted off the field. So, I feel like we've come such a far way from that too. I mean, him not practicing today was kind of a reminder of what can be and what was at one point, but it doesn't look like there's any lingering effects. He looks to be back. He looks like he hasn't missed a step, even going in. What is he, age 40 now? So it's like it's really exciting to see. And I agree with you 100%. I mean, like, there's a part of me that I mean, I don't know if you heard what Herm Edwards said today. Football players play football, and I agree with that too, to a certain degree. If you're 100% healthy, get out there and practice. But at the same time, like you said, it's very smart, and it seems like the New York Jets, for once, are using their little noggin they have up there. I didn't know that they. I don't think that they knew that they could do that, you know. But it makes perfect sense, Like you said, the cleat gets stuck in the ground. He had the ankle injury last year. The last thing you need is like a calf injury or something,
Yeah,
something that people could go on Twitter and say, "LOL Jets." We're trying to
yeah.
avoid that at all costs. Um,
You're
I think
100% right.
weather is going to be
If
better
we go
tomorrow.
out there today and we scored 10 straight touchdowns, we're still 0-0 going into opening night.
Yep,
Who
100%.
cares about today? Herman
Right.
Edwards is the king of making bad decisions. This is the idiot coach who took a knee in Pittsburgh in a playoff game in 2004 on the worst kicking surface in the NFL to make his kicker, Doug Bryan, attempt an even 1 yard longer kick. Like, the guy is not a good decision maker himself. Motivational speaker, sure, Herm, go hype everybody up. But as a football coach, a bad decision maker. So if he's against it, I'm even more for it now.
I'm glad that you said that. I was talking with my father about that today, and he said, he wants to sit here and talk about, I would have done this, I would have done that. He goes, I watched him coach for years. And he said the same thing. He goes, I could count on one hand maybe how many good decisions he's made. So yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. If he's for one thing, I'm against the other. If he's against one thing, I'm for it. So
Yeah.
it really is reverse right there. But so far, in training camp, Garrett Wilson, man, has looked freaking awesome. I think that this is finally the year that the NFL realizes who Garrett Wilson is. They know him now. They're saying, "Oh, he's a number one receiver, but he's on the Jets." I think that
He's
this
always
is the
had the
year that
butt attached to him, right?
yes,
For a guy
yep,
known for we know him for his legs and his agility, but around the world, around the NFL, the other 31 teams, he's always had the butt attached to him. He's talented, but he's on the Jets. He's talented, but he has no quarterback. He's talented, but the Jets are going to jet. The world is going to see what he does with an elite quarterback. And
yeah,
I think that number one receiver in the NFL is a possibility because Rodgers feeds his 1A time and time again.
yeah.
He's known for it. Go look at
Yeah, he made
2020 and
Devontae Adams.
2021. Go look at the target shares, his 2 MVP seasons. He fed the ball to Devontae, and then second was Aaron Jones 1 year. And then I forget the tight end. The guy caught 52 out of 59 targets, which is an amazing percentage,
Yeah,
and had
Mercedes
11
Lewis. He had
touchdowns. Tyler,
Musgrave.
no, that's Luke Musgrave. He's the
Oh,
rookie
Luke. Yeah,
or
yeah,
second year guy. I pull it up, and I always forget this guy's name. But catching 52 out of 59 is very impressive. Dropping 11 touchdowns in those 52 catches is even more impressive.
yeah. And the thing is, too, like you said, he really does feed his 1A receivers. And it just seems like the chemistry that they have already. If you recall back to that Giants game, that beautiful touchdown that he threw to Garrett Wilson in only a matter of minutes. So we're
Yeah.
at the point now where we're finally going to realize, I think that we're going to get rid of that but. I think it's going to be Garrett Wilson is a top 3 receiver. I think he could have a better year than Justin Jefferson. And I seriously do. And that's not to take away
Robert
Tonyan.
Tonyan. 52 for 59, 11 touchdowns.
Do you think that it's realistic that he could have better numbers than Justin Jefferson this year, especially with the quarterback play?
Well,
we saw Sam Darnold firsthand. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy is, but he's also a rookie.
Yeah, and they also have Addison, who is going to get a good amount. I think it's going to be Garrett with about 170 targets. I don't think that's crazy that he gets 10 a game, if not more. Like, I think he is going to be force-fed the football. We got a glimpse of it last year. Go watch the first drive of the Giants preseason game last year. He had 4 targets on the first drive and the touchdown. That was the first drive, and he had 4 targets. That's going to be the norm. If you back off 9 yards because you're afraid, he's going to check. The first play of the game was a run play. He saw the Giants corner 9 yards back and just swings it to the side. Garrett gets it, makes a move, gets 8-9 yards. If you're up on him, he throws a fade on the bottom. Like, he will go to Garrett time and time again. And as soon as you slide your safety over, as soon as your linebacker widens up, that's when they hit you with the run right up the middle. That's when they hit you with the tight end in the middle of the field on the play action. He sets you up. One play will set up a play maybe in the third quarter, right? The opening drive can set something up for later in the game. He's playing chess. I've always said this since before he's been a Jet, right? Aaron Rodgers for me is must-see TV. I want to watch this guy play the quarterback position. Me and my ex-girlfriend were on the phone today talking about it. And she's like, you've always loved him. She goes, I'm excited for you because we couldn't have plans when the Jets were on. And we couldn't have plans when Aaron Rodgers was on. He's been my football man crush for well over 15 years. So I'm looking forward to him being our quarterback. Excuse me, I got the hiccups.
And the other thing is, too, not only Garrett Wilson, we got Mike Williams, who was activated off the PUP list. I'm really excited to see what he can do because he has on most teams, he would have definitely been the wide receiver 1. I mean, injuries have played a role, obviously, and with the Chargers and, earlier on in his career. But if you put him on the Jets, 2021 maybe, he's definitely your wide receiver 1. He has that potential. I'm not saying we're going to have both Garrett and Mike Williams go for 1,000 yards this year, but I think it's very realistic to at least what do you think, in 700-800 yards?
I'm not sure because I think he's going to start on a pitch count. Remember how we did with Brees last year? Brees was on a pitch count.
I'd be cool with that.
I am very adamant that they I don't want to say the word baby, but they're cautious with him, right? Like Brees in the opener, I think he had 10 carries, maybe 2 catches, and he wanted to go back in for more. And the Jets were smart, and they were like, "No, we're not winning the Super Bowl in week 1. We're protecting you from yourself." So I'm a big proponent of third downs, red zones. That's when you bring Mike Williams in to start. We saw Brees get caught from behind last year in the opener. Being in shape and being in football shape, it took Brees almost to the end of October. When he hit that Giant game and he took that pass in the middle of the field, I think all of us kind of like, oh, he's back. That's the guy that we know. He was probably about 85%, which is enough to be a top running back. But it still took him some weeks. Nobody plays in the preseason anymore. You're not game shape come week 1. Nobody is. So that's why I don't have that much panic about Reddick, because he's not a quarterback wide receiver. You don't have to worry about getting timing down. But nobody's in game shape come week 1. The first 3 games of the regular season have turned into ramping up games and getting in game shape because you don't get the reps in the preseason. There's no more 2-a-days. There's no more playing 3 quarters. Back in my day, starters used to play sometimes into the third quarter in preseason game 3. Now, if your starters get 1 or 2 drives, you're like, okay, they're good. There's a panic and a fear of just getting to opening day healthy. But I think it's counterproductive because you see so many guys getting hurt the first couple of weeks because they're not NFL game ready. And that goes to the babying in the preseason.
Yeah, you got to get hit a little bit. You have to get hit. You got to be
100%.
Able to take those hits. Now, I'm glad that you mentioned Hassan Reddick. He's somebody that I've been wanting to get into. What are your thoughts on this overall? I'm at the point now where, like, yes, Hassan Reddick makes you a much better team. The Jets are better with Hassan Reddick on it. Now, you had mentioned that football shape and being in shape are two completely separate things, which I agree. They are. With that being said, here's my kind of issue. I don't know what money he's looking to make. I don't know what you're comfortable giving. I'm hearing that he wants about 28 million a year. That's a little crazy for me, to be completely honest with you. I'm not willing to do that. Now,
Agreed.
he's at 14 and a half right now. You know, if you could get him up to 18 million guaranteed and then incentivize some, if this is only going to be a 1 year rental, which is kind of looking like is going to be the case at this point, I want to incentivize as possible. You know, you get 5 sacks, you get, you know, however many million, you get 10 sacks, you know, 12 sacks, 15 sacks, whatever the number is, QB pressures, QB hits, you know, all the stats. If they could incentivize it as best as possible, I think that's the best case scenario for the Jets and for Hassan Reddick, because you might not be worried about it, but I am 100%. Because he's not getting hit. He's not in practice. You know, I doubt he's hitting sleds and doing a bunch of football drills. You know, I'm sure he's doing his cardio. I'm sure he's lifting weights. He's a professional. He's a veteran at this point. He knows how to train, and I'm sure he's doing it. You know, I'm sure he's fine. But I just don't want to give this guy, you know, 20, 22 billion, whatever it is, and then have him come in and have a down year because he skipped out of almost a month of camp, if not longer, whenever he decides to show up. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to take the cheap or easy answer, but I trust in Joe Douglas. I really do, Liam. Every contract he's given out has been in the best interest of the Jets. If I'm Joe Douglas, I'm looking to structure something similar that we did with Tyron Smith.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll guarantee your $14 million. We'll wipe away whatever fines we can wipe away. Okay. And then, like you said, incentivize it. Tyron Smith incentives are starts. He starts the game, gets like another million or like 750, whatever it is. He can make up to 20 million, right? We want Tyron Smith making 20 million because that means he started every game and the Super Bowl. We want Tyron Smith to make $20 million this year. We'll be doing the worm, we'll doing the backflip, the moonwalk, whatever your dance of choice, the thriller, whatever you want to do. Tyron Smith making $20 million is the best thing that can happen to the New York Jets this year. Now, Reddick, all right, let's do 300,000 a sack. You get 10 sacks, you get another 3 million. Okay, now you're up to 17 million. We win 10 games, you get another million. We win 12 games, you get another million. We make the playoffs, you get another million. We make the AFC championship, another million. We win the Super Bowl, another million. Now you're getting into the low 20s, right?
Yep.
You do that and you help this team win a Super Bowl, you have a blank check written for you next season. Sure, you'll be 30. You go throw 12, 14 sacks out, which he's capable of doing. He does that on the regular. Like, we're not hoping that somebody becomes something. This guy is something. Like, let's not forget. Go watch his film. He gets to the quarterback. He gets the ball out. Like, we're not hoping this guy can become something. He's something. So I'm not panicked about it. You know me. I'm very, very relaxed and calm when it comes to the Jets until the game is on. Like, it's one of the few things in life I'm calm and level-headed about, and they give me absolutely zero reason to be that way.
Yeah, I know.
But
I get it.
I mean, you know me. We're friends on social media. You know I'm a wise-ass, loudmouth, obnoxious person. But when it comes to the Jets, like, I got all level-headed takes. Like, it's weird for me. I'm like, why can't it be like this in everyday life? But getting back to Reddick, the only thing that concerns me is Woody Johnson getting to the point where he comes in and says, get the deal done, give him what he wants, and Woody interfering with Joe. And Reddick would be smart. I'll take it from Reddick's perspective. You have an owner who is known for giving out massive amounts of money between 2010 and 2019. Woody Johnson and Chris Johnson wrote out $975 million in free agent money, only second to Daniel Snyder in Washington, who was just over $1 billion. The Johnsons will pay. The problem was the Johnsons had the wrong people making those football decisions and offering those contracts out, right?
Yep.
We finally got the right guy doing it, where I don't want the Johnsons to interfere and make Joe make a move he doesn't want to do. And then he doesn't want to be here anymore because he's like, you brought me in to run football and now you're stepping on my toes or maybe doing something publicly. So I worry about Woody getting involved. And the reason this team is getting good is because Woody hasn't been involved. The only thing he's been involved in was Aaron Rodgers. But everyone knew when you're going to go trade for a player like that, your ownership's going to be involved.
In a cool chain, too, of course.
So I'm worried that Woody's going to Woody. That's what she said. I'm worried that Woody's going to do Woody things. And I'm worried that Woody is going to panic. We're not winning the Super Bowl September 9th. We're not winning the Super Bowl in London in October. We're good enough and deep enough on the line to withstand a bit of a holdout. Do I think he doesn't play? No, I think he's there by the opener. My day
you
is
think he's for week one?
I do. And I think that Monday, August 19th, 3 weeks from the game, that's my day where then you're going to start to see me get a little fired up and a little chirpy and a little aggravated. Because as a fan now, not as a content creator, as a fan, I'm waiting my whole goddamn life for this roster. I've waited my whole goddamn life for this team. If you have any inclination that you are going to fuck up my dreams this year, we're going to have a problem. And then that's going to be a side of me people don't see very often.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. 100%. And I'm kind of like, I'm being cool about it, but I'm kind of getting to that point now. In a way where
that's fair.
I don't know what was said like with this whole trade. Now there's the Jets are leaking things like crazy. The Jets are saying that he was cool, that he was going to play on his current contract, which I don't believe because he wasn't willing to take that deal with the Eagles. So now all we did was inherit a problem. He said that he would not take that deal with the Eagles. So the Jets are saying there was a handshake agreement, and now I'm sure you've seen all the social media BS that's going on with it. I don't understand. It's just so strange, man. It really is, especially to go this far now, and it's at the point where Salah's not even talking to him. He's not calling in. He's not involved in any
coaches don't
meetings. Right.
Coaches very rarely do, and that's good. You don't want your coach calling and interfering and fucking anything up for your front office. I want that. We should want that. You don't want him, hey, man, we miss you. We could really use you. His agent calls Joe Douglas like, hey, chips are, the ball's in our court. Your coach is calling my guys saying we want him here. It's up to you now to get him here. You don't want any contradictory statements within the organization. So, Coach Sal always says, that's a Joe question. This is a Joe thing. This is not a Robert thing. Robert's thing is to get him on the field and use him the perfect way to help us win games. Joe's thing is to make this work and get him there. And I love that they're not stepping on one another's toes with that. So that's a good thing for us because that would be a drama we don't need or want because that's when you start to have cracks in the armor.
Well, what's funny? Hassan Reddick's agent is Joe Douglas's agent. I don't know if you knew that. They're the same agent. Yeah, they have the exact same agent. So it's got to be awkward for Joe Douglas. He's calling up his agent, who is also Hassan Reddick's agent. I don't think that the agent could really give out some confidential information. But I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just so strange to me right now. And they share an agent, so you got to figure Joe Douglas is like, hey, what's going on? And then it's probably Hassan Reddick saying, I'm not showing up without a contract, and his agent looking out for the individual players, probably going to Joe Douglas. Yeah, he's not showing up without a contract. But the thing is, if he were to show up, I think the Jets would be more willing to offer him a contract because they had already said that they're not going to talk. They're not going to negotiate a new contract without him in camp.
Yeah.
So
I like
I
that.
really,
Like, you want
yeah,
to
I
guarantee
do
the
too.
14 million. You want to say to him, listen, get your ass in here. We're going to
Yep.
guarantee the 14 million. You show up, you show that you're going to be, and we'll get you something before the season starts. We'll do the incentives. We'll do whatever. We'll make it so that your money can balloon. Okay. Now you don't have to worry about he pulls a Carl Lawson and then he's out. He doesn't get cut and miss out on the whole, season's money, which right now, if I'm him, I'm not showing up. I don't have a guaranteed dollar to my name. I'm not showing up and something happens to me and I'm out for the year and you cut me and I'm without a dollar. No. This is where players re-up when there's 1 year left, right? So you don't hit the market. Philly decided to trade him. I'm still in favor of him over Huff. Bryce Huff, people don't want to admit, 7.5 of his sacks last year were against backups.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's true
happy
too.
that we got Reddick. This is just speed bumps on the road. And when he's sacking Josh Allen, knocking the ball out, and going after Russell Wilson, and we're winning these games on national television, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this crap. Let's not forget, Darrelle Revis showed up the last scene in Hard Knocks years ago, and we went to the AFC Championship that year. So our best player was out. Someone as a corner who needs to be in there, who needs to get those reps, and needs to get his timing down. And he showed up the last day of camp. So I'm not stressing it. I wish it wasn't a story, but I can't knock it because it is a business. And these guys do maximize their value and maximize their short spans of earning. Granted, they'll make more money in a year than 20 of us combined will in a lifetime, right? But that's the business that they're in. The business they're in is maximizing your value. And when you see other pass rushers who are getting less sacks than you, getting more money than you, hey,
I get it.
You brought me in to do this job. Like, you got to pay me to do the job like my contemporaries are being paid. You see it in the quarterback market.
Yeah. And then there's a comment right here. Them sharing an agent is why I say the whole thing is being blown out of proportion. It'll get done. Now, here's the thing. Jets could waive the fees as well. They cannot waive the fees anymore. This is not like back in the day where you didn't show up and then, you don't get the money right, as you're not showing up. But like once you do show up, you get the money. That's not the case anymore, which is why I think the Jets will.
Bullshit. You can write in bullshit. You can.
I think
you can
the contract. Yeah, the contract will 100% give him that money back. Definitely reimburse him. So I'm not worried about that. There's another comment here.
Like, you buy dinner for Thanksgiving, you get a $2 million bonus. They can fluff it to get money in there. There's stupid ways to get players money nowadays.
Yeah, so moving on, getting back to the wide receivers for a minute here. There was another guy I wanted to talk about, somebody that I think was down on himself last year. Definitely the team was down on him. The fan base was 100% down on him, to the point where he was a healthy scratch. You know where I'm going with this, Allen Lazard. I don't know what your thoughts on him are. I'm going to get to that in a second. But it got to the point where he was so bad last year that he was a healthy scratch. He's kicking soccer balls, that part pissed me off. When you're having a down year, you're not catching balls, you're having stupid drops, just not being productive, not living up to the contract. If you're playing soccer, that pisses me off a little bit. However, it does seem like, I get it. It's only training camp, and I try not to get overly excited, two up or two down on these things, or overanalyze anything in training camp. But it does seem like he's starting to maybe resurrect his career a little bit. He's having those catches where in OTAs they were drops. In the season last year they were drops. And even at the beginning of training camp there were a couple drops. He seems like he's getting better. It seems like Aaron Rodgers is maybe talking to him and is being like, hey, listen, do what you did in Green Bay. Now, when we traded for him, or when we signed him, the big consensus was always he's going to make those wow catches. He's going to have those big one-handed catches. But the simple slants and the simple things that you should be catching, he's not, simple drops. So I think that is what it's going to be, and I get it. He's probably not going to live up to that $44 million contract, $22 million guaranteed for 2 years. I think he's going to probably be off the team after this season, but they're not going to get rid of him now because of that whole contract. But I get it. He's not going to be that number 2 wide receiver. You're probably looking at 3 at best, maybe 4. I think a lot of that depends on Malachi Corley. But like I said, it does seem like he's starting to improve a little bit. What are your thoughts on Alan Lazard?
Coach Sala never says a word bad about a player, never throws a player under the bus. He got at the microphone last year and basically looked at his watch and said, there's X amount of days until we get out of this player's contract. That told
Yep.
us everything that we needed to know. They couldn't get out of the contract. It's the only reason he's here. If they could have got out of the contract, he'd be gone. I don't trust him. I wouldn't want the ball thrown to him in a big moment. I don't care who's the quarterback. I am going to be scared if I see the ball going in his direction, almost like a hold your breath moment, because I have no trust in the player. When you put out bad film and you give up on routes and you give no effort in a team sport where people like offensive linemen are putting their bodies on the line play after play after play, and you jog a route or you know the ball's not coming to you and you show your frustration, that's a slap in the face of everyone who wears that jersey and helmet, right? It's a slap in the face to your fans. It's a slap in the face to the organization. It's a slap in the face to the sport and people who played it before you and after you. Not a fan at all of Alan Lazard. Me, personally, if Mike Williams is good to go, I want a healthy sit Alan Lazard and get rid of his ass by the trade deadline. That's me.
Yeah.
I don't like him. I don't want him on the team. I will root for. I don't wear jerseys. You know this. I don't buy jerseys. I don't wear jerseys. I care about this. That's it. If you are on the roster, I'm going to root for you. Doesn't mean I like you, but I want the best for this. Okay. I just would prefer not having to see him a part of a game plan. I know they've been feeding him the ball in camp. I know maybe they're showcasing him, knowing these plays will go viral. Maybe somebody gets an injury. They call the Jets. Hey, we know you got Mike Williams. We know you got Corley. We know you got multiple tight ends. We know you got Breeze coming out of the backfield. You willing to part with this receiver? Because we got goals, and maybe he can come in here and help us. And a change of scenery, not being under Aaron Rodgers' shadow, might help him. So I hope he's gone. I do. I mean, I would give his reps to Brownlee. I see Infrared saying that right now. I just saw the comment pop up as I'm saying it. I would build for the future. Alan Lazard's not a part of the future. You can have Brownlee shadow Mike Williams, learn from him, be that vertical high point ball catcher. I would love that. I don't trust him. And it sucks to have a guy whose job is to, if you had a gymnast who can do triple flips but can't walk, that's Alan Lazard. Yeah. He can make the crazy catch. He can go up and high point a ball, but he has a slant pop off his chest because he's scared of a safety at 6'5", 220 pounds. So if you can't do the simple things in any career, you can't be trusted. You're not expected to do the crazy stuff. You're expected to do the basics. When you can't do the basics, you hurt your team and you hurt your organization. And I'll cheer when he does something, but I will be cautiously optimistic that he's able to do something on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Exact same boat. I don't think that he'll be gone at the trade deadline. I do think that we stick out the season with him. But it really is up to him. It really is up to him at this point. It should be a system that he knows and should be comfortable in. I mean, he was there with Hackett. He was there with Rodgers a couple years ago. He knows the system. And he was really brought in because, like, technically he's in his prime right now. He's not too young. He's not learning. He's not too old where, he's on the tail end of his career and on the decline, although maybe it does seem like that. His age is not reflecting that. But he's
never been very good. Like,
no.
Even with Rodgers, he's never been very good, right? Like, to me, he's like a Corey Davis. There's always supposed to be more, and it's always been a disappointment. You look at the numbers.
And overpaid.
He's only had, I think, 1 year over 50 catches. He's only had 1 year over 800 yards. Never had 1,000. So we're not. Let's reel in our expectations on what Alan Lazard is. Alan Lazard's not like getting Devontae Adams because he played with Rodgers. It's Rodgers making a guy a little bit better than he is, and he's not very good.
No, but I really think that he was brought in because he knows the system, and maybe he could help. I mean, not that Garrett Wilson needs the help, but maybe he could talk to Garrett Wilson. This is what Rodgers expects. I really think that's what he was brought in for. And not only that, it was just another familiar body. Especially, we know how last year went, Randall Cobb, Billy Turner, a couple other guys from the Packers too. You know, it's just a
All
couple guys to
mistakes,
get.
though, right? All mistakes.
Yes, I like Rodgers as a quarterback and a player. I don't like him as a GM. Would I want him to be the GM of my team? I don't think so. You know, between Dalvin Cook and just everybody else, it was one thing after another with him. But
And he's kind of gotten away from that, right? Like he said, I'll make
yeah,
calls if they ask me to. Last year was almost, it seemed like behind the scenes demands, and that's just me speculating. Excuse me. But hands off this year, and you see Joe Douglas making some nice moves. You know,
Yeah.
everybody on the offense does something that nobody else does. Garrett Wilson can't do what Mike Williams does. Mike Williams can't do what Malachi Corley does. Corley can't do what Conklin does. Conklin can't do what Rucker does. Brees, nobody can do what he does. There's so many guys that bring their own skill set and abilities to the table that we can attack you in any way. And I know you said you don't want him being the GM, but I want him being my offensive coordinator because I want him making those adjustments at the line and those checks. We lost that 4 plays in too. Not just the guy throwing the ball. We lost the brain. The brain is almost as more valuable as the arm. And we know how great Aaron Rodgers' arm is. But his brain, and we saw the clip last year. I keep referencing this because it's one of my favorite clips I've ever seen. We were doing the scrimmage or the joint practice against Carolina. And Rodgers talked shit to the safety. He's like, back up. I know you're not even coming. Get the hell out of here. Like, he's talking trash to the defense because he knows what play the defense is running. Zach didn't know that. Boyle didn't know that. You know, even if they did know it, they didn't know what the hell to do next. You know, they could have saw the blitz coming. It was just, all right, I'm going to hold the ball and not throw an interception. So we lost so many more things 4 plays in than just Aaron throwing the ball. We lost him getting guys lined up. We lost him attacking the defense. We lost the offensive coordinator where he said himself either on One Jets Drive or Hard Knocks last year, if I don't like the play call come in, I just go, oh, I can't hear it. Aaron Rodgers is not going to burn a timeout. You trust Aaron Rodgers to get a playoff, right? So you're not going to burn a timeout. So if you call in a stupid play where Rodgers is on the sideline shaking his head, guess what? Rodgers ain't calling that play in the huddle. No. He has that. So
we saw multiple times too him just sitting there shaking his head. So that's really what I'm excited for. Just competent.
We're going to be very surprised, very impressed, because we are going to watch someone play the quarterback position at a level we've never seen before. And that is not a crazy statement. This is going to be the greatest quarterback performance we've ever watched.
Yes, sir. I want to end it right there on that note. I'm going to be taking calls in a few minutes. I just want to get Nick out of here. I value his time. Nick, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm so glad that we were finally able to make this happen. We've been trying to get it going for a while, so I'm so glad that we were able to do this, man.
Hold on.
Before you go,
wait. One comment in the chat. Barney, is that real? Barney at 9:40 saying, breaking news, Aaron starting game 1 of the preseason. Is that?
No.
That's not real, is it?
In my dreams.
Oh, Jesus, Barney.
He got you. Barney got you.
You got me. Hook, line, is. You got.
But
I got a few more minutes if you want me to hang with you to take calls. I got a few more.
All right, yeah, we'll bring the call
It's up to you. If you want me to go, I'll go.
Hey, listen, man, you're welcome here as long as you want.
Yeah, I can hang
bring
for a
on
few
Tommy.
More.
Yeah, let Tommy talk to you for a little. Tommy, you there? I see him down there.
Can you hear me?
I'll give him a second.
There
you go. Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Volume's okay?
Yep.
Hi, Liam. Hi, Nick. How are you guys tonight?
Hey, Tommy.
Great contenters, man. I love you guys to death. My one thing I wanted to call in earlier on Jake's show with because Connor Long's the man, little smart, little intelligent man, dude. Like I wish my son grows up to be like him. But as our slot receiver, I have actually 2 points real quick. As our slot receiver, I don't see Gibson being a slot receiver just because he is too slim of a body frame for America. If you ever went, I know Nick, you probably played high school football. If you ever dealt with a wide receiver that actually wants to hit you as a defender, like we played both sides of the football. We played offense and defense. when there's an offensive player that actually wants to put in full 100% contact into you, it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt. And Jamian Sherwood is going to replace C.J. Mosley easily. He's a monster, and I trust 100% in his ability.
I wouldn't say easily, though, Tommy. CJ is one of the smartest linebackers that have ever played football. I wouldn't say easily, like going Sherwood to Mosley, but I think that would be.
But do you see where I'm coming at with Jamian Sherwood?
And that's what you want. You want the pipeline, right?
You're breaking up there a little bit, Tommy. I don't know if your Wi-Fi is bad or what the case is. You're frozen.
Am I still on?
Yeah, now you're good. Yep.
Am I still good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're just freezing up there for a second.
Jamian Sherwood, I think, can replace C.J. Mosley easily just because he's more athletic and C.J. Mosley is older. And my other point was just with the wide receiver, Gibson is too small and skinny for me. When you go to Corley, who's going to actually dominate and actually hit defenders? That was my only point. And I hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah, you could hang out if you want. I'm going to be on for a little while. Up to you. Completely up to you. Now, what you said about Sherwood and C.J. Mosley, Nick hit the nail right on the head. That is what you want in the pipeline. Where Sherwood is a guy that they brought in. I think they brought him in as a safety or a corner.
He was a safety in college, and then they transitioned him to linebacker, special teams ace, like that year one. But he's found his home now.
Yeah, the Jets have also been known to do that, and it's nice because like we're not asking him to be the guy right now. You know, he's definitely going to be somebody that gets those preseason reps, and he's able to learn side by side by what, like you said. I consider maybe not top 10, but I do consider C.J. Mosley to be like one of the best linebackers, at least in the modern era. What he did on the Ravens was incredible, and just like the durability. I get it. When he first got here, he was injured.
He's
and
getting
held
old
out with COVID.
No, it's the only thing.
Yes, and knock on wood, if the Jets, happen to win the Super Bowl this year or next year, I think that will be it for him. I'm not sure what his contract situation is like right now. Actually, I'm not sure how long we have him, because he's a guy that just constantly gets restructured. But Jamian Sherwood is in such a good position right now where he gets to sit next to or play in between C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams. So he's learning from really good talent right now. Quincy Williams, he's another one that you best believe C.J. Mosley had his hand in to redevelop Quincy Williams. When we got here, he was almost, he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was like a waiver wire player. He was on the verge of getting cut, and the New York Jets turned him into an all-pro linebacker.
Quincy Williams is one of the most underrated players in the league.
He
made all-pro. Underrated he made first-team all-pro, and he's still like not in the top 10 on Madden. Lower than he should be in the player vote. I like that though. Don't respect us. Don't respect us.
I agree 100%. It is annoying though. Like when you go on social media and you see, like you're looking, like you start scoring. Where's the Jets players? Where's the Jets on the list? Oh, they're not on.
So look, real quick, real fast. I had someone argue. He was a Tom Brady fan. He swore to God on his life that Eli Manning was a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, and I had to show him the film. And like I couldn't even. I was like, "Are you an absolute idiot? You think Eli, just because he won 2 Super Bowls, has a better strong arm than Aaron Rodgers? He tore his Achilles on his non-throwing leg. It has nothing to do with his arm. He throws the ball down 80 yards down a field.
That is a
Eli Manning could never do that.
Yeah, that's a horrible take. I would block that guy on my phone.
Tom Brady. I'm like, okay.
Real quick, I do got to get going. My son
Eli Manning, bro, dude, like.
I want to say to James Woody in the chat.
My Wi-Fi is so screwed up.
It is.
I think it's because of the rain or whatever. What's going on over here in Jersey?
All right. Yeah,
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. 1 second, Tommy. I want to get Nick out of here.
Real quick
Nick,
before I
where
go,
can? Yeah,
I
go ahead.
saw James Woody ask, "Are we going to MetLife for Week 3?" Woody, you're in my group party. you
Hey, yo,
you
Nick,
are in.
Nick,
I got the
real
tickets
quick.
for the
Don't you
group.
think this Hassan Reddick thing is all on fucking Woody?
No, I mean we covered that. We covered that earlier. I don't want to get back into that because I do got to get out of here. But Woody, you are in our tailgate.
You signed a guy
and
that
the
wanted
ticket.
a long time contract.
Yeah. 1 second, Tommy.
Yeah,
Hold on.
we covered that at length earlier. Liam,
I'll get into that with you. All right, man.
thank you so much, brother.
Nick, have
If
a
you
good
have
night,
2
brother.
more seconds, where could people find you on social media, and where could people check out your content?
Proud NYJ fan. I go live at 10 o'clock, and in the link of the description tonight for the show, have all my socials in there on TikTok, Instagram, obviously YouTube. And for those of you who donated for the GoFundMe for Hank G, we are raffling off tonight. I got the helmet, the mini helmet signed by Brees Hall at camp the other day. So for every $10 donation, I opened up the GoFundMe again. Now that it's a Brees Hall, if anyone wants to go, the link is in there. Donate $10. For every 10 you donate, you get another chance on the wheel. We're going to spin the wheel tonight and raffle off the helmet. So thank you.
All right, Nick.
And
Tommy,
Tommy,
thank you so much for coming on, man.
Have a good night. Liam, anytime, man. My pleasure. And tell your partner we'll connect another time. We'll get together
For sure.
again. All right.
Have a good night,
guys.
man.
Go Jets.
Later. All right, Tommy, just you and I for now. I'll throw the link in there one more time if anybody wants to hop in, get a couple callers going. I just wanted to give Nick. We've been trying to get that going for a while. I was just trying to give him a little bit of his time. All right. What, am I not working here?
Hey, Liam, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Sorry, man. My Wi-Fi is very horrible right now. I don't know. Whatever's going on in Jersey City, New Jersey, my Wi-Fi is not good. But
yeah, I mean, I get it. The weather's probably been really bad. On Long Island, it's been really bad too.
On Long Island.
If anybody else would like,
said that. If you ever say you're in Long Island, that's the wrong thing. You're on
that's right.
Long Island.
I am on the island, baby.
Yes.
If anybody else wants to call in, feel free. I just posted the link. I'm probably not going to post it again. Maybe one more time. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Sometimes people call in, sometimes not so much.
Liam,
so
let me ask you one question while my Wi-Fi is good.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Malachi Corley as your number 3 slot receiver, knowing that he's gonna tear apart and he wants to take contact and hit a middle linebacker, or you have Xavier Gibson who does not want any contact at all as your slot number 3? That's what my conversation is with people. Like, Xavier Gibson is a returner, a punt returner. He's not a number 3 slot receiver. And my point was Jamie and Sherwood can easily. Who's calling me? End this. Don't call. I'm on Jets chat. Jets chat's more important.
That's right. Call him back.
Sherwood, I call him back. It's probably some dumb, but if CJ Mosley, he's getting up there in age. Like he's not a young buck. What I'm saying is he's brilliant in his brain. What I'm saying is Jamian Sherwood took everything of his knowledge, and he knows how to play the middle linebacker slot. When they took him, he used to be a safety, and they moved him to middle linebacker. That's a big jump. 30 pounds in the NFL is a big difference. Okay, Malachi Corley is 215. Xavier Gibson's 180. It's a big difference. A big difference. 30 pounds in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Armin on in a second here. Now, to answer your question about Malachi Corley and Xavier Gibson, I think preseason, this is where these debates get settled, preseason. Now, I remember last year preseason, like it sucks to watch. I mean, it's fun because you got all these hungry guys, but it's just sometimes it's just such bad football. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what Malachi Corley has. You know, they call him the Yak King. So if that's the case, I want to see some Yak. Now, with Xavier Gibson, he was obviously one of the fan favorite stories coming out of Hard Knocks last year, where he was on the bubble. They brought him in, if you remember, where it looked like they were going to tell him that he didn't make the team, and then they tell him that he did, and then he has that great game wins the game for us in overtime week 1, 9-11 last year against those no good Buffalo Bills. But if you're looking at where they're drafted, which I don't like to do because, Zach Wilson's the perfect example of that, I would have to give the upper hand right now to Malachi Corley, but I am excited to see these guys battle it out in practice. I do think that Xavier Gibson will make the team regardless.
Of course,
but
yeah.
in terms of playing time, right now I'd want to give that upper hand to Malachi Corley. But like I said, I think that this is what preseason's for. Show us something in preseason. Now, what you said about Jamie and Sherwood and CJ Mosley, I agree 100%. And I think that once CJ Mosley retires, I want to get a deal done with Jamie and Sherwood, lock him up for the next couple of years because I like what I've seen from him. I think he's another player that we're going to be seeing a lot in preseason because he could use the reps. He's still young, he's still developing. And I think that he's getting great knowledge and he's in a really good situation right now. Imagine you're at your job. And
he reminds me of Quincy Williams. He reminds me of Quincy Williams so much.
Yes. Real quick, I'm gonna bring on Armand as well. Armand, my friend, what is going on, bro?
Nothing much, guys. How are you, Liam? Hi, Tommy.
Hi, how are you, Armand?
I'm doing well. What's up, chat?
The chat's on fire tonight. I just wanted to thank all of you guys. Oh, he left us. He'll be back. His Wi-Fi is pretty much the New York Giants right now. So hopefully he gets
or
that
the Carolina Panthers if you're watching the Panthers Patriots on NFL Network.
I am not. Nor do I plan to. I don't think many people will. But right now we got 59 people watching this right now. Head over to YouTube and definitely like the video. I appreciate wherever you guys are watching, but YouTube is definitely the place to be. But if you're on Twitter or X watching it there, that's cool too. But just definitely try to support us as best you can. Tommy is coming back in just a second. Right now he's not connected. But he did bring up an interesting take. Armand, what are your thoughts on the battle between Xavier Gibson and Malachi Corley?
I don't think it is. I mean, it is a battle, but I really think it's in Corley's hands that he has the edge over Gibson. I think we have to separate number 3 receiver and slot receiver. We are it's Garrett 1, Mike Williams 2, Corley is 3. I would put Gibson over Lazard at 4, but obviously the contract's going to come into position, and plus being one of Rodgers' buddies, Lazard's probably 4. So Gibson to me is a slot receiver. He's not a number 3 receiver. He's only a number 3 receiver on a team that's tanking. So He's going to be used in the slot because that's the type of receiver he is. Now he's going to get most of his snaps on special teams as a returner, kickoffs and punt returns, unless somebody takes one of the return slots away from him, and then he's doing the other one. He's doing one of them. Where I think Corley, he's our number 3. He's going to be used on the outside and in the slot, just like they're going to use Garrett. A lot of number 1 receivers, unless they're really good at something, like Jamar Chase is really good down the field, he stays on the outside. If you're a Garrett Wilson type, a Justin Jefferson type, you're going to be used outside and in the slot. So we got to separate the term, like Garrett Wilson is the X, whether he's on the outside or whether he's in the slot.
Hey, Armand, can I ask you one question real quick?
Sure.
Have you ever played Pop Warner football or high school football?
No.
Okay. When the defense has to actually attack and defense a player on offense that is completely out of control as a maniac like Malachi Corley, it's a pain in the butt for the defense. They'd rather have somebody like Xavier Gibson that would just get hit and just be like, okay, I'm tackled. It's a complete different story when you have a monster that wants to attack you on offense going against the defense. Like, it's completely different. And unless I don't know, I played only high school football, but when you get somebody that's so aggressive on the offensive side, that does not care about getting hit or does not care about his weight, or he don't care about getting hurt, and he wants to punish you. It's a whole different animal that the Jets, I don't think, ever had. Like, I can look at all the Jets receivers, Lavernius Coles, Wayne Corbett, like Keyshawn Johnson, Al Toon, Art Monk. Like, none of these guys were warriors that actually went across the middle and would destroy a middle linebacker like we have now. And it's going to be something crazy to watch. Like, I can't wait for it. We've never had that in our slot. That's what a true slot number 3 is.
That's why I said
no
Corley's
pain.
our number 3. I don't think Gibson's our number 3. Gibson will be used in the slot, but that doesn't make him a number 3. Now, I also think he's not going to get a lot of snaps unless they go 4 or empty backfield, empty set, no running backs in the backfield, and they're just going to use like 4 or 5 receivers.
Xavier Gibson's he's fast, he's quick, and he's good at what he does, but he's not Malachi Corley, who has 30 pounds over him of muscle. You know what I'm saying? When you want a slot receiver, you want a slot receiver that 30 pounds in the NFL of muscle is a lot.
Oh yes.
It's a lot.
It's a huge difference.
The problem with
people are like,
Gibson is he's afraid to get hit.
Gibson's the slot receiver, but Xavier Gibson is the kick returner, punt returner, and if he had to cross the middle and he played over 3 or 4 games, he would get hurt in the first 3 or 4 games. Well, Malachi Corley will sorry for my language, will last the whole season.
Oh, good. There's a good comment here that Infrared Jets, Tommy's pretty much saying the same thing. The problem with Gibson is he's afraid to get hit, hence the fumbles he had last year. Corley is definitely not afraid to get hit. He loves contact. Now, You don't want him getting banged up, obviously, but I do think that it's going to be good in preseason. I want to see what these guys can do. I mean, Xavier Gibson has a year of experience in this system, which should, in theory, give him the heads up, the upper hand. But if Malachi Corley is what we think he could be, I think either way, it's a good situation. And if he could come in
Liam,
and be
real quick, 1 year in the NFL doesn't mean anything compared to 30 pounds of muscle that you have on your body playing in the NFL.
No, but he has the knowledge in the system now.
I have a kick returner, punt returner, not a slot receiver. I don't agree with that. Do you
think that they're going to use Corley as? Do you think that they're going to use Malachi Corley returning anything this year, punch or kicks?
I think him and Isaiah Davis will be the 2 kick returners. Yeah, and if Gibson is healthy, yes, he'll be back there. He's fast. I'm not saying I don't hate on Gibson. He's very fast. He's just
they're going to evaluate all those guys at both kickoffs and punt returns and see which one they are better suited for during the preseason and during camp, and see Gibson might be used only on punt returns, where Corley might be better at kick returns, at the start of the game, at halftime, if we're getting the ball back,
Situation like that. Yeah, 100%.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, like, as a slot receiver playing in high school football, I would not want to go against somebody that was a wide receiver that was completely aggressive, wanted to hit you every single time that he caught the ball. Like, it was a pain in the ass. Like, those are very rare people that you come across. And for someone to come to the NFL as a wide receiver, slot receiver, to want actually to punish a middle linebacker, it's very few people that are wide receivers that can ever do it, let alone get into the NFL and do it. Because in high school, it sucked. Like, let alone college and the NFL. Like, if you can get into the NFL and you're 5'10", 210, and you're hitting middle linebackers ready to go every single time he gets the ball he wants to hit. It's a pain in the ass for the defense.
Oh, 100%. I played high school ball too. I know how it is. I actually played against Jeremy Rucker.
Really? He's on Long Island.
Yeah,
that was a big boy.
My high school plays against his high school every year, so that was definitely fun.
Okay.
Now,
so I'm sure you're rooting for him, right? Or not?
Yes, I am. No, yeah, 100%. Okay. I mean, when I was going up against him, I wasn't, but yeah, now.
Right.
Now, there's something else I wanted to get into. I wanted to get both of you guys' take. I guess I'll start off with Tommy. What are your thoughts on Robert Saleh choosing to sit Aaron Rodgers today during joint practice because it was raining?
Greatest decision that he could have ever made. You saw Aaron Rodgers' face and his smile. He was laughing. He was smiling. Thank you for letting me sit. Like, he doesn't need, he's been in the league for 20 years. He doesn't need a game against the Washington Reds. They used to be the Redskins. Now they're what, the Commanders. He don't need that. The Commies. He doesn't need none of that shit. I'm so happy because we actually got to see how Tyrod Taylor actually can manage his first team one string. Like, how Tyrod handled the first string offense was amazing. It was great.
It's got to make you feel good. It's got to make you feel good that we finally have a competent backup quarterback.
Absolutely.
Oh, geez, like why did they didn't do this last year? Is again Woody Johnson, but
and Joe Douglas because he didn't want to let Zach go. He was stubborn to keep Zach. As much as it's on the Woody decision is more in season when Rodgers went down. I think going into camp and everything was more Joe Douglas, and even Rodgers saying that he wants Zach here. Going into camp last year before the injury happened.
They thought that Zach Wilson was the real deal when he wasn't, and they failed on that. That's where they screwed up.
The thing is, they doubled and tripled down on it too. Like
Yeah.
I get it. You give him like 2. I would have given him 2 years. Like that's what it is. After 2 years, you kind of know what a player is. The rookie year, that's kind of like a wash season. And then like year 2, you had Garrett Wilson, you had Breece Hall, and then as a quarterback, you should just. I get it. You could just manage a game if you want, but at the same time, like you should be kind of elevating those around you, which he never did. But Armin, what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers?
The problem with Zach was he had his most. He was just as athletic as Aaron Rodgers ever was. He just didn't have it in the brain. He couldn't read defenses.
Correct.
He could not read a defense to throw the ball to the right position. When you look down 1, 2, check, Garrett Wilson's wide open on the middle, and you completely don't even look his way. That was his problem. Like, he had no brain to read defenses. That's where
And think about this. He didn't have any competition to help him get better his rookie season after he was drafted 2nd overall. They didn't bring in a competent veteran to help him.
Yeah, they had Joe Flacco, but he was not interested in helping.
He was supposed to sit the last season. He wasn't supposed to play, and they forced him in there, and he wasn't ready, and they screwed that up.
Yeah, like they always do.
Zach Wilson was not supposed
because he
to play.
Didn't adjust the playbook. He didn't adjust after knowing that they were going to have Zach for the whole season.
Armin, what are your thoughts on Robert Saleh deciding not to play?
When he did play, you could see strengths in his arm, like how he was a good quarterback. It's just he was not mentally, he couldn't read defenses. That was his problem. Absolutely. And not everybody can. Not everyone's an NFL quarterback. And I don't hate the guy. He's a good-looking guy. He got a beautiful family, and like he's a good dude. He just can't read defense. And simple. Like, you either, like, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, when he's on the field, you're going to tell me that he does not know every single defensive call that's on that field. He could check out of any play. Exactly. It's a whole different story of talking about Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson. And Aaron tried to get Zach into that, like, adult mode of being quarterback. And
to be fair, last year was the best he's looked. Not saying it was great, but like if we're rating Zach Wilson, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, he was never good, but last year was probably the best he's ever looked as a New York Jet.
If he kept having the same type of game, like from the Chiefs game on, if he took how he played against the Chiefs and he did that for the whole season,
right,
he's still here.
Yeah,
he's still here. And maybe Tyrod is not here. Maybe there's a cheaper veteran backup quarterback that could be QB3 that's here.
Yeah, he had those flashes, but then, for every Kansas City game, that every time that he looked like he did against the Kansas City Chiefs, he had games where the Raiders, the Chargers. You know, just like those couple.
Chargers.
You know,
Yeah.
just those terrible games that he can just never get out.
Horrible games.
When he
Games
was
where
good, he was
were like,
decent, but when he was bad, he was bad.
I just never got over the concept where he couldn't read past the first one or two wide receiver and actually look down the field and see who was open. Like he always just stuck with one or two receivers. You see his eyes, and he could never throw it to that third because he never got past that first or second receiver.
And the thing is, too, he never had great
offensive see the
offensive
whole
lines.
field with all five receivers.
The thing is, too, like he never had a great offensive line, but him running around in circles didn't help because they didn't know where to block for him.
And he didn't know how to just when you're out of the pocket, he should just threw the ball away. But he would keep running around until he got hit.
Yo, real quick, Zach Wilson was a better athlete than Mark Sanchez ever was. But guess what Mark Sanchez did for our Jets? Look what he did. He was able to know our defense was great, and he was able to just throw down stupid little passes to the receivers instead of throwing the ball away like an idiot like Zach Wilson did. Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback that ever played for the Jets.
We're repping him now. I don't know if he's the worst quarterback that's ever. I mean, Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian last year.
I'm talking about an
He's
actual.
Probably
starter.
Zach's the worst Jets quarterback in history being drafted by the Jets.
Yes,
He's
yes,
the
100%.
The worst one being drafted by the Jets.
I would take Mark Sanchez over what's his name? The guy Zach Wilson with the blonde blue eyes. I would take Zach Wilson 1,000% over Mark Sanchez. I will take 1,000% over Zach Wilson. He was one of the worst draft picks that ever happened in history.
He's right up there with Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell and Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Tim Couch, Achilles Smith,
Tom Couch, Tim Couch.
We could do this all night.
All right.
That's good. Armin, I've been wanting to ask you a question. What are your thoughts on Robert Saleh deciding not to let Aaron Rodgers practice today?
It's the smartest thing he could ever do. I mean, we all knew this. We all saw the weather from yesterday. Like, Rodgers ain't playing today. We sure as know the starters are not playing on Saturday.
Right. Did you see the comments made by Herm Edwards saying if you're a football player, you play football?
I did not, but
no.
That is like, Herm, shut up. You couldn't coach. You made bad decisions. I mean, there's a reason why you're not even coaching Arizona State no more.
It's true. It's very true. What's up?
Liam, let me tell you something. When you play in the NFL for 20 years, and Armin, listen to me, you don't need to practice. All you need is your body to be healthy and safe and get ready for the regular games that matter. Preseason means nothing. Nothing. That's why they cut down a game. They cut from 4 to 3. Now they're having like these joint scrimmages with people. Aaron Rodgers has played in the league for 20 years, and one of my friends, they're not really even my friend, he tried to say that Eli Manning has a better arm than Aaron Rodgers. I shot and showed him the film. He said, this is from 2 years ago. I said, okay, here's from yesterday. You're going to tell me Eli Manning has a better, stronger arm than Aaron Rodgers. He got hurt on his Achilles on his non-throwing leg. It has nothing to do with his arm.
Just a freak accident, man.
It was a freak injury.
Yep. Now, do you think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, Eli Manning? I think he is.
No, Eli? That's a question. Aaron's
he's going to get into 100%. The Hall of Fame because he has the 2 Super Bowls. He has the MVP for the Super Bowl.
Because of 2 Super
and his
Bowls.
Last name.
Yeah. I agree.
I think he got both. I think he got both MVPs for both Super Bowls.
Yes.
I agree with that. But you're never going to tell me in your life.
The Giants' defensive line, one of those guys should have been Super Bowl MVP. But it's always about the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it should have been Strahan.
You saw how Brett Favre just gave up the sack to give Strahan that fucking sorry for my language, that free you're now the new sack leader. I just give up. Like, here, you can have it. Like, BS. Like, that was crazy. I did not like that, how that happened. He just
So do you
literally
guys?
gave up on Michael Strahan and just said, here, you won. He laughed in his face. Like, it was like,
Now, I guess my next question here, I'll start off with Tommy. Is there any player that you think is like might be on the bubble that you're interested to see in preseason?
there's a couple, actually.
Okay.
I love Stingers. I love him as a safety or cornerback, whatever they're putting him. And I really like Brayson Brownlee. Jason
Jason
Brownlee, is
Brownlee.
that no?
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
6'4" wide receiver over. They want to keep this guy Herb Charles just because he's like
Play
a
special teams.
special teamist. Yeah, like I
That's
don't
big.
care. Like,
That's big with Salah.
I know, but I'd rather keep a 6'4" Jason Brownlee as our fifth receiver than a Gibson who's 5'9", just a special team. Like, we could find speed anywhere. Like, I don't care
Justin
that
Hardy
Hardy
was a special teamer,
retired.
and he's no longer on the team, so they need a gunner. And if Charles
But
is a better,
look, check this out. We get drafted 2 running backs, Isaiah Davis, and we got my boy
Braylon
who Bobby
Allen.
always says, yeah, Braylon Allen. Like, they are going to be young monsters. You put them out as gunners. Like,
They're not
they
going to
might
use
be
Allen
like
as
what
a gunner.
a
He's
point.
their RB2.
They might be a little bit not as fast as Gibson, but like, I don't trust Gibson.
Usually gunners
him.
are corner. Usually gunners are corners and or receivers. They're never running backs.
What Xavier Gibson did last year, he won 1 touchdown back in the first game against Buffalo, and then after that, all I seen him do was drop footballs and not be a football player. Basically, I never seen him do anything after that Week 1 game, and that's what my concern is. I'm not saying he's not fast, he's not good, he's not special, but like, why not have a 6'4" Jason Brownlee, and you want to keep Herb Charles, who's 5'9", who's just a gunner? I just don't get that philosophy.
Well, Brownlee should learn how to be a returner, and if he could do it better than Gibson, then Gibson's on the bubble.
Yeah.
Or even have Herb Charles learn to be a returner, where he's a returner and a gunner.
Let me
and if
ask
he
you
could do it
something.
better,
Ahmad,
then Gibson's off the team.
Ahmad, do you know who the hell Herb Charles even is?
He's a wide receiver. He's a depth receiver on this team that, they really like.
He's never caught 1 pass, I don't think, in the NFL. So that's why I don't know who he is. He's just a fucking, sorry for my language, he's just a kick and punt returner. He's never caught 1 pass.
You know how the
in
NFL is? They love their special teams. That's why they don't really want to get rid of the kickoffs. The union would never get rid of kickoffs because that's money for players. Kickers, punters, they all look for it. I mean, we had Justin Hardy, who was a 5th corner on our team, but he didn't really play cornerback. He was just a gunner on special teams.
Right.
We're going to bring on another caller. We have Connor coming on. We have Connor. Oh, there he is. Connor Long of Jets X Factor. Connor, thank you for coming on, man. How you doing?
Of course, really
What's
appreciate
good,
you
brother?
having me. Good to see you, Tommy.
How are you, bro?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to. I heard you guys talking about Herb Charles there. I was kind of, listening on my phone. Then I thought I'd call in. The thing is, I think it really depends. Personally, I want the Jets to carry 7 receivers to start the season, similar to what they did last year. But then obviously Brownlee was inactive in the beginning of last year. The thing with Irv Charles is he's a very solid gunner, but it's like with every single roster spot on this Jets team being so valuable, really becomes the question, are you going to want to use a roster spot on a player like Charles who's going to solely contribute to special teams compared to a guy like Malik Taylor, who I think deserves a spot on the roster, who's capitalized on every single opportunity that has come his way, has shown that the coaching staff trusts him. He's played with Rodgers and Hackett in Green Bay. He also contributes on special teams along with having a role on the offense. So I honestly would go with the more complete player, and Charles is always a guy you could stash on the practice squad without there being an issue of you elevating him to the roster.
Hey, just real quick, Irv Charles is what, like 5'9", and so is who you just said, Malik Taylor. He's about 5'10", right?
I'll check.
Jason Brownlee's 6'4".
Jason Brownlee had 50 yards last season.
They never gave him the shot. They never threw him the ball. Like, he didn't have any opportunities
throwing the
to
ball
catch
accurately.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Hey, listen, these are all depth players that are going to be battling it out in preseason. Now,
Tommy.
So I want to ask you something, Connor, real quick. You would rather have a 5'9" wide receiver gunner than a 6'4" monster that Aaron Rodgers can feed the ball to?
I'm looking at the numbers right now. Irv Charles is 6'4", 219 pounds.
Irv Charles is 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was like 6'1".
Height isn't everything. Height is not everything.
It's nothing. It doesn't.
It's not everything. It's not everything, but it does mean something when you only have certain amount of wide receivers that are 6'3" or 6'4", and the rest of your roster is 6'1" or 5'10".
Look at Alan Lazard. That's all I gotta say.
Alan Lazard. Let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is going to feed that man the ball all year just because he's going to make him into – I'm going to tell you right now. It's like almost like I haven't seen my kids for 2 years. I'm going to feed you that ball until you can't catch it no more. That's how he's going to make Alan Lazard, until he can't catch it no more. He's going to make Alan Lazard's career regenerated.
That will be very quickly.
I can't wait for it.
Yeah, but God forbid if, let's say Rodgers, unfortunately has another, gruesome injury like that. Lazard has shown us that he's not quarterback proof whatsoever, unlike a receiver like Wilson or Gibson, who were still able to produce solid numbers last year while playing with, the boatload of incompetent quarterback play. No,
you're 100% correct on that. If Aaron Rodgers goes down, we're not looking good. But that's the Jets. That's the Jets, baby. Like, we have to believe 100% that we are going to all be healthy. Like, I just went to the Barcelona Real Madrid game with my kids, and I was the only one with a Jets jersey chanting Jets, 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 Jets. And like, my son's like 2 years younger than you, Connor, and it was amazing because my son's like, Tommy, please don't, Dad, please don't chant this. I'm like,
I'm chanting
Jets. And I didn't give a shit because that's my team. We own the stadium for the next 10 months. And
absolutely.
I didn't care about Barcelona or Real Madrid. I know they only come here once a year, but guess what? This is our Jet Life Stadium. And the way you talk, Connor, bro, the way that you know about how smart you are, you're only going to be the best due to what you're doing. So keep up all the great work.
Thank you. I really appreciate
it. Nothing but love, brother. And I would always debate you with one thing. Let me tell you something. Have you ever played high school football or a Pop Warner football?
No, I've never played football. I play baseball and basketball and golf.
Okay. When there's an offensive player who's a wide receiver who actually wants to attack and hit a middle linebacker or outside linebacker, there's nothing like it. They're very few to find. And for the Jets to get Malachi Corley, there's no words to describe of how much this guy will do for us, because a defender does not want to get hit by an offensive player like repeatedly. A defensive player wants to do damage. He wants to hit the offensive player. When an offensive player actually, as a wide receiver, hits and wants to hit every single play as a middle linebacker, there's very few that you will ever find in the world that will do this. That's why I'm so happy that the Jets got him. And that's why he will be our slot receiver.
Yeah, I don't know about this year. I mean, we knew he was gonna take. I think at least he's gonna be like a 2 to 3 year project until we actually see him in a focal point of this New York Jets offense. I mean, I heard it firsthand when Robert Saleh said Corley has a quote long way to go until we see I don't understand all the Xavier Gibson hate. I mean, he wasn't great in terms of kickoff returning. I think the two guys back there this year are gonna be. I think Corley's gonna be one of them, and then Davis, and then Gibson will be returning punts. But when Gibson played in the slot last year, we saw him like really find his role in the offense week 4, week 5, week 6, that kind of range. I mean, he was really solid in the slot. I have a lot of faith in Gibson, unlike most Jet fans.
I have no hate, Connor, but when you get older, you're gonna see his body is too slim for the NFL. It's college would be no problem. In the NFL, he goes across the middle one time. He gets hit by a strong middle linebacker or an outside linebacker. He's gonna be hurt and he'll be out for weeks. That's the only problem I have. I have no
That's
hate
why
against
Gibson
him.
has to be smart and find the holes away from defenders where he's open.
Yeah, I think Gibson is going to be the new 2020s version of Wayne Corbett. Just the size.
I hope so, man. Dude, I hope so.
You're talking a lot about Wayne's the man. Wayne is the man. I met him, Connor. I met Wayne Corbett when I was in 7th grade. I was the same height as him, 5'8".
Oh wow, you were tall in 7th grade.
Yeah, I never grew since. And I got a picture with him. He signed every autograph, everything for me. He was the nicest person that I've ever met in my life, Wayne Corbett.
Yeah,
him and Curtis Martin were two of the best.
I'll tell you guys a quick little story. He's my favorite. Wayne Corbett's my favorite player, my father's favorite player. So my dad was saying that for Christmas a couple of years ago, he wanted a Wayne Corbett jersey. So I got him a signed one, and he didn't want to wear that. So right now in my living room, like when you open my front door, the first thing you see is this huge ass Wayne Corbett signed jersey just sitting right in my living room, hung up. My mom hates it. We don't really care, I love it. My dad loves it too. That's how much he means to us, man. I absolutely love Mr. Third Down. I've met him a few times myself. Awesome guy. And he's he's like the centerpiece of my house right now. When you walk in, that's the first thing you see.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. The company that I write for, actually, New York Jets X Factor, on top of my podcast, he actually does a podcast with the co-owner and co-founder of the company, Robbie Sabo, which is streamed on the Jets X Factor YouTube channel every week. It's a really, really good show. He speaks a lot about, and the good thing is he keeps up with the Jets. So, he's a former player. You could kind of implement, what his experience is in the school. Curtis Martin?
Curtis Martin?
That's the football, baby. Curtis Martin signed. Can you guys see it or no? Not really.
Yeah.
I see it.
One of the most nicest, him and Curtis Martin were the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Keyshawn Johnson was a scumbag.
Oh,
because once he signed his rookie deal, after his rookie year, he would only sign autographs because he had to get paid. So he wouldn't sign anyone.
I mean, it was the number one overall pick. I mean, anyone who's that big of a prodigy, if you will, coming out of college, tends to be cocky. It kind of Baker Mayfield reminded me of that when he first got drafted. And then it was the first 2 years, he's like, "Hey, you're not really a good quarterback." And then I've actually started to really like Baker Mayfield as of these late years. You've seen him develop into a quarterback now with the Buccaneers, where he just got paid, after being traded actually for a 7th round pick after being the number 1 overall pick. I like guys like that who come in the league, they get humbled, and then they end up having success later on.
I like when someone actually comes into the NFL like Quincy Williams and is humble from the beginning. Straight up, Quincy Williams will go to Aaron Rodgers and be like, "What's your favorite song? What do you want to do?" Dancing around shit. I like people that are just naturally happy and genuine people. People that just only want to go out and just make money, and that's all they care about is money. I have Hassan Reddick. I have a big problem with that guy.
Yeah, Connor, I want to get your thoughts on this whole Hassan Reddick situation.
Yeah, so actually earlier today I called up the Rich Eisen show to ask Rich on his opinion about this, this current Hassan Reddick situation. I look at Reddick right now. I mean, he grew up in New Jersey, attended Temple University. He's been, these last 2 seasons, he's been severely underpaid if you really think about it. He surpassed double-digit sacks past 4 consecutive seasons. 2022, he recorded 16 sacks and finished fourth in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So, already looking at that, I mean, this guy, he is a very talented player. And, the plan for him in this New York Jets organization is to take over for Bryce Huff. And he should have no problem doing that. As I said, 16 sacks in 2022. He's recorded over double digits the past 4 seasons. I will be willing to pay him once he actually shows up and practices and plays for the New York Jets. I want to see at least 3 weeks of him, 3 regular season games of Hassan Reddick before I consider a lucrative 25 to 28, per year million dollar deal, and that's just per year, $25 to $28 million. Here's the thing. I look at Hassan Reddick. I think he's 29 right now. He's aging. He's about to be 30 years old. I don't want to sign a guy like him to a long-term deal. We guarantee some of his money this season, make him comfortable, but he doesn't seem to be happy with that. Supposedly the Jets offered him an extension before they actually even inked the deal. He said he would be at OTAs, minicamp, training camp, etc. I mean, this is really getting out of hand, and his bank account's going to take a hit shortly.
Now the thing with that, the only thing with the bank account is like I'm sure he's going to be reimbursed with this new contract. But I agree.
Yeah,
I think it is getting ridiculous at this point. I think it's getting to the point now where it's like, I still want him on the team and everything, but you start thinking about football shape. I mean, it's different to be in the gym doing your cardio, lifting weights, compared to getting hit by, these offensive linemen and taking these hits. And it's at the point now where it's like, I agree with you. I don't want to give him all this money up front because he's not in football shape right now, most likely. So it's at the point now where I want him to kind of prove it. I want this deal as incentivized as possible. 5 sacks, you get $1 million. 10 sacks, 15 sacks, 12 sacks. You play X amount percentage of plays. You hit the quarterback. You know all the stats.
Snaps, playoff
yeah.
Pro Bowl
Liam,
selection, pro selection.
Armand, and Connor, hear me out real quick. Hassan Reddick is not signing any deal. He'll lose $2 million because he wants 28 or 35 or whatever, $30 million. $2 million to him is nothing. He's not showing up to any practices. I'm going to let you guys know this.
He doesn't want to be a Jet.
He doesn't want to be a Jet. He wants to get a long-time extension. And this is all on Woody Johnson. You signed a guy that agreed to a fake contract with just him saying, I'll sign for it, instead of actually signing the contract. That's all on Woody Johnson, bro. Like,
you got to put that on Joe Douglas too, because he's the one that had to make Woody do the trade.
Just because a man says, I'm going to sign and I'll play for this $3 million, you knew this guy wanted like close to $25 to $30 million. So $2 million to him means nothing. It means nothing. He will not report.
Pocket change, yeah.
It's pocket change. He will not report until he gets paid.
And he told the Eagles, I want a new deal. So if he told the Eagles, the team he grew up watching,
Yep.
They told him you could go out and look for a trade. Like, they weren't going to pay him. The money they could have paid him, they took it and paid Bryce Huff.
Look,
yeah, I mean,
we have 5 players. I'm sorry to cut you off, Connor. We have 5 players we have to pay next year. Sauce, Garrett, AVT. There's like 5 players we have to pay before Hassan Reddick gets paid.
DJ, Michael Carter.
Oh, and Jermaine. We have so many. And
Sauce. Well, after this season, Sauce, Garrett, Jermaine, their 5th-year options have to be picked up.
And then Brees doesn't have a 5th-year option. That's the problem. He was a 2nd-round pick. So, I mean, here's the thing. I look at this class, and I mean, would it be a dream come true if we could, extend all 4 of these, young blue chip players. If you really think about it, I don't see it happening realistically. I think we come out with 2 of the 4, and those 2 players are Sauce freaking Gardner and Garrett freaking Wilson. I think Brees Hall, and if Jermaine's very talented, don't get me wrong, but I take him out of the equation here, and I really think the 2 were between. I think it's really between Brees, Garrett, Sauce. They're gonna pay 2 of them. They're
You
gonna pay
can't
2
let
of them.
Brees go. You
Oh,
can't
he's
let
gonna
Brees go.
I'm telling you right
He's
now.
going to be traded. You're not going to pay a running back.
After the way that he
That's
came
why
back
that's
from
why
an
they drafted 2
ACL
running
injury,
backs.
better than ever.
That they're going
You
to.
cannot
I
let
said
Brees
this
go.
last week. Brees is going to be traded next offseason. That's
Well,
why they
I
drafted
don't
2 running
think so.
backs. That's why
If
they
they could
drafted
find a way to
Braylon
keep
Allen.
him,
It's a running back. It's a running back situation where that's not. I don't know, running backs get treated like dogs, like dog poop. It's not. It's unfortunate. That's the position I played.
it is unfortunate, especially because they're skill players. But it's just the way it is. I mean, sometimes the way they fall off and the injuries they take, they become a liability after a certain amount of
Yeah,
years.
but Liam. Brees Hall is younger than some of the players that even are in this draft that just came out as UDAs. Like Brees Hall's
no, I
21
understand.
years old.
Yeah,
He doesn't
it's
have
the
a lot
money.
to tear to his legs.
It's all about the money. This might be a hot take, but you also guys might understand this. I think Nick Chubb is going to be gone after this season from Cleveland, and he's coming off an ACL.
We got some more people adding. Raven and BMAC. Welcome, guys.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Yo,
Hey
B-Mac.
guys.
Hey.
What's good, bro?
Tommy, what's up, dude?
I know B-Mac and I know Connor from my other shows, man. Like sometimes I don't get called. I don't get called in a lot, but I love talking football, man. And Liam, thank you for having me onto your show. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on every week, man. I look forward to it now. 2 weeks in a row. I found out that you and Armand are like next door neighbors, which is cool. You guys might even be in the same house right now. So,
but then Tommy's Wi-Fi wouldn't be shit.
Everybody on
That's
this
true.
channel is my brother from a different
man.
mother. Every single Jeff fan that I've ever met in my life, I love, and I fucking give you a kiss on the cheek. And if you don't like it, oh well. Like my daughter was like, "Why are you kissing me on the cheek?" My ex-wife was like, "Don't kiss her." I'm like, "I'm kissing her." Like, F you. Like I'm doing what I do, and
Don't
we're
ever
gonna
change, Tom.
handle it after that. Every single Jeff fan I've ever met in my life, I kiss on the cheek, bro.
There you go. So, B-Mac, what's on your mind, brother?
Hey, well,
B-Mac.
It's my first on the podcast. Big fans.
Yeah,
of you.
thank you for coming on, man.
I've been watching. You'll probably see me on the Jake show. You know what I mean?
Jake,
and,
Boy Green, I see you on.
I go on. Yeah. I've been on Boy Paul Green show. I've been on a ton of Jets content creator stuff.
You're a celebrity, man.
So I want to come.
Appreciate it.
Connor,
Raven,
that
what's
was,
on your mind?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. But Connor,
go
that
ahead.
was you that called into Rich Eisen today, right?
Yes, correct.
Dude, you killed it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You were awesome. I mean, honestly, I wish I had the same confidence you have at your age. And when I was that age, you killed it. And I mean, listen, Rich Eisen, he was shocked. It was amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate. I mean, I've tried. So it's tough because you really have to join right as the show starts if you want to have a chance of getting on, because it's a jam-packed show and they only take such a small amount of callers. I mean, I joined and then literally I've joined a couple times, but this is my first time actually getting on the air. I joined. I was literally writing a story out for Jets X Factor, and then it's like, all right, Connor from Long Island, you're on the line, and I went, whoa, and then it was crazy, but I really appreciate it.
It's kind of how the Jets Afterburners is. You got to get right on, otherwise I ain't let you on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm lucky that I was able to make it on real quick. But no, Connor, you were awesome. I follow your channel
Thank
Watch you all
you.
the time. Follow you on Twitter. Like,
Thank you.
you're
Appreciate
amazing. And like, keep doing everything. And
I
like,
appreciate it.
you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
How is everyone
Connor,
else
for those
doing?
oh, go ahead, Raven. I'm sorry.
Oh no, listen, I was just asking how everyone else is doing.
Great.
You know, what are we talking about right now?
Before
Connor,
we like really get into it, Connor, 1 second, Connor, why don't you just let people know where to follow you for those who don't
Oh,
know?
I really appreciate it. You can find me at NYFlightJets on Twitter, NYFlightJets Talk on YouTube, and then I'm a writer for Jets X Factor, JetX Mobile, App Store, Google Play, JetsXFactor.com. Appreciate it.
Of course, man.
Connor, keep being you. You're excellent, brother. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Never
Yeah,
change yourself
excellent.
to your true soul. You
Thank
you are who you are, and you're awesome. Never
Thank
change to be anybody else.
Right.
Nailed it.
Raven, what's on your mind?
You know, I was really excited when I saw that Mike Williams was practicing today. I was kind of starting to get a little worried about him and his trajectory, because without him, I feel like our wide receiver room is pretty thin. You know, the Hassan Reddick situation just keeps like blowing my freaking mind at this point.
Yeah.
Not even like necessarily on our side, more so his side, because it's like, dude, you've been fine. What is it? It's like over $1 million at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's like, who the hell is in your ear, or who's not telling you what you need to hear but don't want to hear about losing your money? Like,
I don't want to cut you off, but it's his agent. His agent is telling him to hold out for $2 million so he can make $30 million. That's what
Now his agent is also Joe Douglas's agent. I don't know.
Exactly. I know that.
Like, see, I didn't know that part, but this guy is not doing his job. I'm sorry. He's not.
No, he's a piece of shit. I agree with
he's in
you.
the last year of his deal. He has no guaranteed money in his deal. He told the Eagles he wanted a new deal, and that's when the Eagles gave him permission to seek a trade with another team.
Right.
Like,
and the Jets decided to take on his contract and not extend him, which makes no sense to me.
I think about it this way. Like, you know, a couple things. One, we got to, you know, I came in, you guys were talking about who we're going to pay in the future. We got to prepare for that. Two, like, and with that, I don't know if I necessarily see an extension for him on the horizon. And okay, let's say he doesn't get that extension. Like, what are these other teams that are going to be looking at him next year going to say? You know, and I like hate to like
Jets
play
got
that
him
card
locked
and
for
be
2
like,
years.
oh, look, there's like, sorry,
The Jets got him locked.
He's a
Locked
free
for
agent
2
after
years.
this season.
Yeah,
He's a free
No,
agent after this
even
season.
if he doesn't play for the Jets all year, the Jets still got him locked for another year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when he's going to be a free agent, like, you know, this doesn't like reflect well on him, and he's gonna be 30 at that point. You know what I'm saying? He's gotta like basically.
Right.
I just think, like, you know, take what
This
you
is
can
his
get.
year to make money. This is his
Now,
year
Ray-
to prove that who he is, and he's not doing it.
Raven,
But
do you
the Jets
fear
have
that
him
maybe he's
locked
going to have a down year?
The Jets have him locked, Liam. The Jets have him locked under 2 years. If he doesn't play this whole year, the Jets still have him under contract next year.
Yeah, if he doesn't play
nothing.
this whole season, they hold his rights for next year. He doesn't become a free agent. But there's it's either like week 7 or week 8. If he doesn't come in like during the season, like week 7, week 8, or later on, they hold his rights for next year.
Exactly.
But he would be in by the
$2
time that deadline happens. He would be in by the time that deadline was to happen. He would be in, so he can become a free agent.
No,
Liam,
the Jets hold.
Raven, it gets chaotic.
Let me tell you something. If if Hassan Reddick does not play all season, the Jets still have his rights for next year, where he's
That's
not
going to
getting paid
happen.
shit.
He will come in by the deadline for him.
What I'm saying is, if he does not report, the Jets still own his rights for next year.
And I'm going to tell you, he's going to report so he can be a free agent. He is going to report by that deadline to keep his free agency intact after this season. And you say, what team will sign him? A team that is tanking because they have cap space.
And how fucked up is it, Amon, that the Jets did this? You sign a guy that he wants a long time extension. Why the hell would you sign him if you're not going to pay him?
Because
Why
it
would
was a
you do
knee-jerk
that?
reaction
So
to
if I
losing
could,
Huff and
so
then
if I could
hearing
hop in,
all the
guys,
no crap.
I
Yeah,
was, so I was
let's
in a
give Raven a
space-
chance.
So I was in a Twitter space with Nick Faria 2 weeks ago, and he explained this, and he said that, you know, everything Hassan Reddick had said about being excited to be there, and he would report, and that was true at the time, but then he saw us offload JFM, and he's like, all right, like now you guys, and I'm like totally oversimplifying. Now you guys like have some money, like pay me basically, and that's how all like this mess started. But when he did sign, he did fully intend to follow through with everything he said. This is just what Nick Faria told us in his space.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm very much so oversimplifying things.
No, you're right though, and I've heard the same thing. Now, are you worried possibly that maybe he's not going to be in football shape and he might have a down year just by not practicing and being with the team?
I'm not necessarily worried about what shape he'll be in, because at least to my knowledge and what some of these other beat writers have said, again, like in Twitter spaces, it seems like it's not like he's just like sitting his ass on the couch. Like it seems like he is doing his own like training and conditioning. It's more so like a rhythm thing, you know. Even like if he had been reporting to mini camp, training camp, all that, he's still coming into a group of guys who have all been playing together for now their third season for all intents and purposes. You know, that's the part that I'm focused on personally, not necessarily his playing shape.
Okay.
Now, can I say one thing real quick to you?
Sure.
I really feel different because 1000% the Jets, he's not a Jet. He's never been a Jet. He never played with the Jets. The Jets don't even know him he doesn't even know his defensive coordinator's name. I don't know if that was a joke or not. But like, if you're coming in and you don't know your defensive coordinator's name, who's one of the best in the league, there's a major problem there.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna throw the same question to BMAC. BMAC, are you afraid that possibly Hassan Reddick is not going to be in football shape and possibly have a down year?
Well, I'm gonna get right to the like hip heel. I think Hassan Reddick is being a crybaby. I think he's being a diva. I think he's being a cancel. This is a guy that hasn't played a single snap with the team, and all of a sudden he thinks that, you know, that he should get like a long time mimic contract. I think he should shut up, come in, be with your teammates, you know, be locked in. You know, this team is prime, ready for a Super Bowl. You know, the Jets have like a 1 year window with Rodgers. I think maybe 2 years. You know, I mean, you never know what's going on in his head. I mean, you know, like, I mean, it depends on like, this could be it for him, in my opinion. But I just think Hassan Reddick just needs to, you know, work for his new contract and prove to the Jets why he's worth that big deal in a Jets uniform. And that's my opinion.
I agree with you, brother. No, I agree 100%. And like kind of like what Raven said. I mean, the rumor is that there was a handshake agreement that he was willing to pay on the contract. I believe that's what the Jets are leaking. I don't find that to be true because he was unhappy.
Yo, Liam, that's bullshit. You say that you're gonna sign for a contract. It doesn't mean anything until your hand signs the contract, and I'm paying for this and that, and I sign. He did this all on purpose because he wanted to make more money, and that's the Jets, the boss, Woody Johnson's fault of doing this. That's what it all comes down to, brother. And if you think that I'm BSing, try to tell me something else. This is Woody Johnson's fault. And I'm sorry for yelling and screaming.
I
go
want
ahead.
to
You're
highlight
passionate.
something one of you said, and I'm sorry I had my phone down so I couldn't see who said it about, everyone being locked in the 1-year window. I want to point out that every single player who has reported to one Jets drive for either both OTAs and minicamp and training camp or just training camp, every single player in that building is locked in, like dead fucking serious. Oh, sorry for cursing, Connor.
Yeah, except Hassan Reddick.
Connor,
But
cover your ears.
literally, except for him. Everybody
Yeah,
is
and that's on the coach.
board.
That's on the
Everybody has the right attitude. They're holding each other accountable. We're seeing the offense and defense legitimately compete against each other in practice every day. Every single person on that team, except for him. And honestly,
Yeah,
that's like
excuse
a
me.
fucking attitude that I do not.
What is your
appreciate.
name, real quick? What's your name?
Mine, Raven.
Raven.
Yes.
This is all on the Jets. They screwed this up. They knew that Hassan Reddick didn't want $2 million. He'll sit out the whole year for $2 million. He wanted $25 million, and he'll sit out until he gets paid. And for the Jets to do this, it's all on Woody Johnson and the ownership. I'm going to tell you straight up.
Listen, me at
now
this.
You can talk.
Listen, me at this point, like, I just don't think it's, and this is just me personally, I don't think it's useful to like bitch and moan and be like, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. I'd more so think about like, all right, what are we gonna do about it? Like, this is the shit. What are we gonna do about it? Because like I said, we got one goal in mind.
That's what they got to do
tunnel
about
vision
it.
on that, and everybody else is locked in. And I'm sorry,
Well,
I'm
going to give you a different example.
Fucking attitude.
Raven, hold on. To give you a different example, Brandon Ayuk, who was looking for a big-time wide receiver one money contract, is in camp at San Francisco. He is not practicing. He's at camp, but he's not practicing. There's a lot of players
A hold-in.
like Ayuk who are in camp and they're not practicing because they're in the last year of the deals looking for the big payday. And Christian McCaffrey a few days ago on an interview called Brandon Ayuk a former teammate. And everybody now is on pins and needles waiting to see when he gets traded, whether that's to Pittsburgh or to another team who's going to pay him. So if Reddick was here in camp, he is not practicing until he gets a new deal.
So Armand, and I don't mean this like I'm not trying to like come at you sideways, but like, what point are you trying to make here? Again, I'm not trying to like
if Reddick was in camp
can you hear me?
Deal, he is not practicing.
Yeah.
Armand, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Armand?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tommy.
All right, listen. The guy from the 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, he's nowhere close to where Garrett Wilson is going to be. Garrett Wilson is our number one. We don't need Brandon Ayuk.
I'm not talking about trading for Brandon Ayuk. I am bringing up a situation where there's other players on the last year of their deals looking
that
for
aren't
money,
practicing.
and they are in camp not practicing. Reddick could do the same thing. He could come here to camp on his deal with no guaranteed money and not practice, and we're still bitching and moaning and complaining about him not practicing. What has to happen is
the thing is, Armand, you signed the player who wants a contract extension. Why the F would you sign him knowing you have 5 other players you have to pay in the next year? Why would you get on Reddick?
They technically didn't sign him.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, listen, Connor, I think
Liam, you're right. I think
Connor was about to say that he and Connor, you let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth, but it seems like you were about to say that you would rather him be at camp but not practicing. Were you about to say that?
100%.
Well, yeah, if he would have just showed up in shorts.
I would rather have Reddick here not practicing.
1,000%.
Honestly, I agree with you, Connor, because at least at that point be with his teammates and at least get to know the scheme on some level. And at the end of the day, this guy is experienced enough that where I feel like if he is in that environment, paying attention to what he needs to pay attention to, it'll be easier for him to fit in. But him not being there with people he has never played with before, and those people having been playing together for now their third season in a row, it's like lesser of two evils in a way if he were to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree there.
Selfish. I consider him a selfish, Liam. Real quick, then I'll stop. I consider him an inconsiderate piece of shit because all he had to do was report with pads. With pads. He had to just wear shorts and a shirt.
All those players that are in camp looking for new deals, do you think of them just like Redick?
No, but if you've never been a Jet fan before and you've never been with the Jets, you think Aaron Rodgers gives an F about Hassan Reddick? He's like, I played in the league for 20 years. I'm way more skilled than you. I am a lot more better. I'm going into the Hall of Fame.
Got his money.
I don't
he
need
gives two
you.
Shits. Aaron Rodgers got his money. He don't give a shit.
I know. Either does our goddamn billionaire, obviously. That fucking wants to sign a player that wants a long-term extension.
Well,
you sign a player that wanted to get signed for a long-term extension, and then you think you look at the Jets like, we messed up. No, you messed up. You don't sign a player that wants a long-time contract if you ain't gonna pay him.
Douglas, because I guarantee you, Joe Douglas screamed.
It's not on Joe Douglas. It's on Woody Johnson.
It's also Joe Douglas goes to Woody.
Joe Douglas is the general manager. Woody Johnson is the owner of the New York Jets. Woody Johnson.
You know how much money Woody Johnson has over him than Joe Douglas?
He's
Woody
a
Johnson's a billionaire. A billionaire.
Woody Johnson's going to listen to Joe Douglas when Joe Douglas says we should go get this guy. Woody is going to say yes.
Right, and they did. They wanted to go get this guy, and they didn't sign him.
Blaming Joe Douglas.
All right.
No, I'm not blaming Joe Douglas. What I'm saying is
you have to blame them. They're lockstep.
I'm trying. It's like a Stacy.
The owner of the team is a billionaire. The manager of the general manager of the team makes a couple $1,000 million, maybe $1 million compared to a billion.
But it doesn't come out of Woody's personal
pocket. Joe Douglas has to go to Woody and say we should trade for him. I have this deal done.
Yeah,
Woody Johnson is all about himself. He cares about himself first, and he doesn't give a shit about his general manager.
Well, then he should have fired Joe Douglas.
He wants to be the Cowboys guy.
I gotta say, and unfortunately, I gotta hop off because my phone is at 8%. But I agree with you, Armand. It's not. Really
I'm blaming both Woody and Joe. That's what I'm saying. Blame both of them.
Here's the thing. Woody has nothing to do with the football operations.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the worst thing. He's a businessman. He does not care about the franchise. He views New York Jets
and that's why the Jets.
Hold on, Tommy. Let him finish, Tommy.
He views this team as a business investment, and no matter what, we'll be sitting here 100 years from now, and the team will still be in the Johnson family's hands. He is not selling the team.
I'll probably be dead in 100 years, Connor.
Oh my God. Yeah, Connor, you might be there.
I'm going to be 39 next month. 100 years, I'll be 6 feet under.
Yeah, not that
I just hope by that time I've seen the Jets
but I just turned 28. So, Connor, you might be around. I don't think the rest of us are.
I'll be more realistic. 30 years from now, 25 years from now.
Okay, that's fair. And here, like I said, guys, though, my phone is on 8%, but thanks for having me on for a little. Love you all.
Of course. Thank you for coming on, Raven.
Bye, guys.
We'll have to do it again.
Raven.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Have a good night, Connor.
Connor, I wanted to get your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers not practicing today because of the rain. It sounds crazy to even say.
Yeah, so this is, I've obviously there's been so much Rodgers talk. I didn't even mention this on my show. It's like I like it, honestly. I mean, I like that he looked pissed that he wasn't practicing. I really like that, actually. That shows that he just wants to get out there and really showcase his talent. But what good comes out of a guy like him practicing in the rain? What good comes out of that?
Right.
And did you see how Tyrod Taylor played today? Amazing.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Amazing.
Yep.
He looked like
Alright,
our
so-
starting quarterback.
He could be. He could be.
Let's hope not.
He
Let's
looked
hope
like-
not.
Yeah,
Please don't start
Yeah.
that shit. Please don't stop that.
Liam.
What's up,
Can I
B-Mac?
say something to Mr.
Yeah.
Liam? Liam, you don't might know this, but I am a Packer fan too. You know what I mean? The Jets are my
Yes.
second team
Yes.
because of Rodgers. I'm a big Rodgers nut. You know, I follow his entire career. I seen every single game, every single rep, every single snap. I know last year scared y'all Jet fans a lot. What happened? It scared me too. You know, we were all robbed for what could have been a legendary season last season, 4 plays in. You know, like only the Jets. Like who could would have thought, right?
Yeah.
But I would say this, you know, don't go into season, you know, manifesting negative things. Rodgers is gonna be fine. The dude is tough as nails. I seen this dude play with a lot worse, with a broken thumb, broken leg, broken knee, broken calf. You know what I mean? He no. 17 games is a little bit unrealistic, but he can give you 15 games. Let's say 15 games. And Tyrod Taylor is good enough to get you to start the next 2 and get y'all 1-1, and that's Jets and Rodgers can get you in Rodgers. Let's say 15, 14 games.
Yo, B-Mac. Aaron Rodgers got hurt on his Achilles from his non-throwing leg. It has nothing to do with his arm, his throwing arm. It has nothing to do with it. I tried to show somebody yesterday him compared to Eli Manning. It has no effect to his arm.
And say this, and people forget Peyton Manning last year in Denver when he won when the Broncos won the Super Bowl. Like people want to give Peyton all that credit. It was really the defense, and that Broncos defense was like the best defense in the modern 2010s, and Peyton was like washed up. Peyton like barely can even throw the ball, but Peyton had that brain. Like Peyton's mind was still a weapon. I think Aaron Rodgers will be better than Peyton. I don't think he's gonna fall off that much. You know, Rodgers is a little bit more athletic than Peyton. Peyton was a statue, but I think Rodgers, like not MVP Rodgers, but but let's say like his last year in Green Bay, like if Rodgers gets you that same production, then I think that's still a lot. You know, that's still enough for y'all to win football games and go on a deep playoff run because he's still got the brain. And he's still got the arm.
B-Mac. Check out YouTube Aaron Rodgers highlights of throws.
Yeah.
Every throw he throws is a spiral. Perfect 100% spiral. You can't say that same thing against Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, anyone else that you want to name a quarterback. When you put in Aaron Rodgers highlights quarterback throws, every throw is a fucking, sorry for my language, is a spiral. And you're going to sit there and compare other quarterbacks just because they won Super Bowls.
I seen like Rodgers, like I watched all Rodgers highlights from 2008 into 2022. I watched every single Rodgers game, and look, say what you want to say about Rodgers off the field, because when people talk about Rodgers, they talk about the stuff what he does off the field. I don't care what he does off the field. I'm talking about the quarterback and the player on the field.
What he does off the field makes him better on the field. Yeah. What he does off the field makes him better on the field. He is not married. He has no kids. So he does his own thing in the offseason to make his brain right for the season, which people don't effing get. They're so stupid that they think that he's being inconsiderate and being selfish, when really he has no kids, no married. He's not wife. He has no wife. He's setting his brain up for the whole season. And that's what people don't understand. Like
I mean, what people also like, I have a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers going into 2024, and I don't really think if Aaron Rodgers goes down, I hope that doesn't happen. But we still have a top 5, top 3 caliber defense. We still have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Mike Williams, Xavier Gibson, players of that caliber. But people, you guys have to take into consideration here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. He's going to be 41 in December. Like, this offensive line, I think this is like the offensive line. I think it's the wild card of the whole team. Yes, Joe Douglas did a great job this offseason by adding 3 new starters. But, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 40, going to be 41 years old. I mean, this isn't 28-year-old Aaron Rodgers in terms of mobility. People do have to take that.
You seen his left tackle, Connor? You seen his left tackle?
Yeah, he played 12 games
six
last
foot
year,
7.
14 games.
The one that hasn't played a full season since 2015, that left tackle?
Pro. He's going to protect his backside better than ever than we had
He
last year.
hasn't
But
played-
go ahead, Mike.
He hasn't played a full.
They drafted what's his name?
Olu Fashanu.
So yeah. So he's a nice backup in case.
You seen
I'm not
Tyron
trusting
Smith walk on the
rookie
field?
left tackle.
There's
You
not
think
many
Rodgers is
people
gonna trust
bigger
the
than
rookie
him.
left tackle? He doesn't even
That's
trust
right.
rookie wide receivers.
What'd you say?
There's not many people bigger than
I
Tyron
disagree
Smith.
with that.
What do you say? The whole chat
Rodgers
just speaks.
rookie white thing.
BMAC, what are your thoughts on Malik Taylor? I know you're a Packers fan. You played for the Packers for a little. I'm a big fan of his.
Well, I do know Malik Taylor a lot in 2020. When I think we played the Falcons. I think Devontae was out, Lazard was out, and we was down for like second and third or fourth wide receiver core. And Malik Taylor produced a ton in that game. And this is what about Rodgers that makes him so special, that he makes UDF guys look serviceable. Like Lazard. Like people didn't know who Lazard was, and then when Lazard played with Rodgers made Lazard look like a good wide receiver. From a UDFA. So I think Malik Taylor. I mean, I don't think he's going to see that much playing time unless there's a lot of injuries at the wide receiver position. But let's say if Mike Williams goes down or Micah Corey misses some time, and if Malik Taylor can step in, I have confidence in Rodgers that he can, get something out of him because he's done it before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to get ready to wrap this up here, going on a little over 2 hours. I got work in a couple hours, so. Just wanted to thank all of you guys for coming on. Armand, Connor, BMAC, Tommy, of course. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for coming on. Gotta do this every Thursday. Every Thursday we go live at 9 o'clock. So I'm always gonna be bringing callers on. So definitely gonna have to do this again. So you guys have a good night.
I wish you all guys a blessed night. Okay.
I'm gonna respectfully remove all of you, starting with BMAC because he's on the bottom. So no offense to you, BMAC. Have a good night, everybody.
See you guys.
All right. All right. Just me. I am going to hit the outro here and get us out of here. Everybody have a good night. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Everything and almost said Everything NYJ. It's been so long. My old podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into the Jets Afterburners podcast. Tune in every Thursday at 9 p.m. We're going to be going live. Have a good night, everybody.
Quarterback, Ken O'Brien of California Davis.
Just 14 that first time, now going long. They got a wide open man, and he makes the catch. It's Braylon Edwards taking off. Braylon Edwards will take it home for the touchdown. 80.
First down in San Diego territory at the 47-yard line. Big draw. And Pennington going for 6. Deep down the field, and it's caught by Santana.